Hello and welcome everybody to today's webinar, Introduction into the VJS Visual Job Scheduler for Microsoft Dynamics 365 Business Central. My name is Martin and I'm the host for today's webinar. I'm CEO and co-owner of NETRONIC Software here from Aachen in Germany, and I'm happy to spend the next 45 to 60 minutes with you talking about the Visual Job Scheduler for Microsoft Dynamics 365 Business Central. I will come to some housekeeping details in a couple of minutes, but you all know that during a webinar you're on mute. But this does not mean that I'm not interested in talking to you, discussing with you, and chatting with you. So whenever you have an idea to share with us, whenever you have the thought of how we or our products can do better, whenever you have an opportunity that you like to discuss and you do not know to whom to talk at NETRONIC, then just talk to me. Here's my email address. I kindly ask you to send me all your thoughts, your ideas, your complaints, and your deals to this email address. And I also would be very happy if we could connect on LinkedIn so that we can have eventually chat there, share some information, and see what we get out from that awesome platform. Also, if people are on this call who deal with engineering to order companies, so more on the manufacturing side of things than on the project services side of things, and if you want to become a guest in my podcast, which is called the Business Central Manufacturing Show, then also please reach out via email or on LinkedIn. And with this, let's jump into the topic of today, which is the introduction into the Visual Job Scheduler for Microsoft Dynamics. So as the title says, introduction into, this is really something that we call the beginners level webinar. So if you have seen a zillion of a Visual Job Scheduler presentation in the past, then you're welcome to stay here, but most likely then this is not the right event for you. We also run regularly some more advanced webinars. This is really an introduction into the product. We record this session, we make the recording available afterwards. And if you have a question, then please use the GoToWebinar chat function to ask that question. Most likely, I won't answer the question here live in this webinar because oftentimes these questions are very individual. But if you have a question, then you will definitively get an answer within 24 hours after the webinar. And if nobody answers, then again, here are my contact details. Send me the question. Happy to discuss. And with this, let's get going with the VJS, the Visual Job Scheduler for Business Central, which is an extension that we provide. You can get it from AppSource, but also if you have a customer who is on-prem or if you have your Business Central on premises, then of course the VJS can also get installed locally. We also have the Visual Job Scheduler available for Microsoft Dynamics NAV, more or less same product, same functionalities, but a bit different look and feel. Today, we look at what we have for Business Central. So if you summarize the Visual Job Scheduler, the VJS, in like one marketing-ish sentence, then we always say the VJS is the integrated resource scheduling and project planning, drag and drop front end to the standard jobs and resource modules of Business Central. So this is really like marketing language, and from time to time, for example, when I talk to friends, when I talk to my family, but also when I talk to customers or partners, they challenge me and say, "Let Martin stop the marketing rubbish and explain to me in a few simple, clear words and sentences what this actually means. What this what you put here in this one sentence stuffed with buzzwords and with tech words." And so the Visual Job Scheduler is all about visual integrated resource and project planning. And what this is, and if you are familiar with Business Central, if you're a Business Central partner implementing the jobs and resource module, or if you're a customer in a project services organization or in engineering to order company, then I mean, you know how you as a project service company or as an engineering to order company, how you struggle with understanding the full picture of your project staffing and the resource capacity, right? You know that when you just are in Business Central and Dynamics Nav, how you lack transparency and how you literally can get lost in all those tables and menus. And the typical answer when it comes to project planning, resource staffing, and resource capacity is, okay, let's get the project planning piece done in a tool like Microsoft Project, and then let's use something different for resource scheduling. So for example, do the resource scheduling and the project staffing in Excel. And instead of that you do both, that you do the project planning in Microsoft Project and the resource scheduling in Excel, we integrate both of these things into a drag and drop scheduler within Business Central. So we really want to stop you using other tools than Business Central, because we believe Business Central is a really awesome business management software. It's an awesome ERP system, and why using other tools than just that? We want to integrate these tasks of project planning and scheduling into Excel, into Business Central. And this is then something that when we integrate both angles, the project planning and the resource scheduling bit, into Business Central, then we call it visual integrated resource and project planning. And we have seen from our customers that it gives you transparency, understanding, and control. And I hope that these words were easier to understand and put the things better into perspective of what we're going to talk about in this webinar than just the marketing claim, what the VJS is. So the VJS, the Visual Job Scheduler, gives you actionable insights that you can directly deal with. So if you use the jobs and the resource planning module, then you may face the situation that you quote a new project and you need to give a delivery time to your customer, right? And you get an immediate answer with this, with a visual job scheduler. And then you can take action. You can call your customer and you agree with them a date. And you know that if the customer agrees on this date, you have enough resources available to kind of execute the project in time. Likewise, job tasks get delayed, right? I mean, the nature of project is to get late, to run late. I think there are more projects that are delayed than those that are in time. And so whenever you have a delay, you want to know what is the impact on your job's deadline. And also if this is delayed, then also some resource schedules get delayed, right? You had people assigned to tasks for next week. Now this gets delayed for some reason, maybe also because your customer is not ready. Then you need to get the people on the project scheduled for the week after. But with which other project does this conflict? Will this put other timelines in other projects that you had these people assigned to, put them under risk? So we give you visible and easy to act on information also on those aspects. And last but not least, from time to time, you look at the deadline of the project and you know, okay, this is tough shit. This is going to, this is on the critical path already. So you may want to split a task and give it instead of to one person to 4 persons, because this will then reduce the total time to complete this task. And then you want to know, okay, if I do this, what is the impact on the job's deadline? And these are some examples of actionable insights that you get from Visual Job Scheduler. So the Visual Job Scheduler that we want to look at in a few minutes bring a couple of differences to standard Business Central. So first of all, it integrates with Business Central. It fully integrates with Business Central. It fully integrates with the jobs module and the resource planning module. And the advantage of full integration is there are no data interfaces and also no data interfaces to outside servers. So the complete extension and the complete data live and breathe within Business Central, and this makes the VJS different from, to my knowledge, any other resource planning and scheduling tool out there, because they all take the data from Business Central, send them to an external database, and then you plan on this external database, and then you send the data back to Business Central. And there's nothing against this approach. We just decided for a different one because also we are a firm believer in the Microsoft technology stack, and most likely there is no better secured business cloud environment than the Microsoft Azure cloud, and Business Central runs on the Microsoft Azure cloud. And with us just hooking into Business Central, our product kind of benefits from all those investments that Microsoft makes into data security. And we feel that, especially for project services companies, that can be a big benefit. Whereas if you would take the data out of Business Central and send it to a third party solution outside of the Azure platform, then there might be some data and data breach risk that you have to deal with. Other than Business Central, which is an ERP system that is designed around tables, the VJS brings visualization and drag and drop capabilities with the visualization to Business Central. It gives you a project Gantt chart, it gives you a resource Gantt chart, and gives you a histogram view, which is an overview of your resource capacity load. Other than Business Central, which just allows you to define like job tasks and job planning lines, um, the VJS also gives you the capability actually to define dependencies between job tasks and job planning lines and jobs. So if you have dependencies like this task cannot start before this is finished, or those tasks should start at the same point of time, then you can actually define this within the VJS and then use it both for project planning and for resource scheduling. Also, you can spread workload over a given time, which you cannot with Business Central. In Business Central, you can say, hey, I have this job planning line. I need that resource on that day for that many hours. With the VJS, you can actually say, hey, I have this resource. I want to give it a task. This task has whatever. He has a budget of 10 hours to complete this task, but he has 5 days of time. This is something that you can actually do with the VJS. The VJS comes with a workaround on one of Business Central's biggest weaknesses in resource planning. Business Central does not allow you to schedule work on resource groups. And with the VJS, if you install the VJS, you get a nice work around this so that you can actually schedule work on resource groups first and then assign to resources later. The VJS gives you the capability to visually split job planning lines, and it gives you the capability to visually graphically create new job planning lines. As such, it makes Business Central visual and understandable, and it helps you to integrate resource scheduling, which many companies do on Excel, and project planning, which many people do with Microsoft Project, into one tool within Business Central. And with this, I think these were enough PowerPoint slides. So now let's look at the real thing, and let's look at Business Central. And of course, there are some requirements to log in again. So here we are in wonderful Business Central. And if we look at my jobs, I have a bunch of jobs here. Some of them are completed, some of them are planning. There is one that I quote, and then I have some jobs with a different numbering. So I actually set up jobs also as templates, because in my sample company that I built here, I have recurring project structure, so that when I create a new project, I will always create the new project from the recurring project structure. So my sample company here is a little bit a simplified engineering to order company, where we have some project managers to handle the project. We have something that I call technical office, where we do CAD drawings, where we create electronic bombs, where we work on technical specifications. Then sometimes this is already enough, because we have like parts that we purchase and that we then, according to the specifications, to the technical drawings, to the CAD drawings, install with the field service team with our customers. But sometimes we also have some proprietary parts that we let produce with an outsourced production, and I want to take this outsourced production or make it also part of my production schedule here. So this is like the setting here, and then the business of my company here is to sell and implement, install, build these custom-made solutions, these custom-made systems, and also my business is to service and repair them. So I'm doing both. I do the project work, and then I also service these systems that I installed. So you see, there are not that many jobs here. I have a few resources, so I tried to keep it simple because this is like the introductory webinar, and it makes no sense to come with highly sophisticated data in an introductory webinar. So now let's look at one of those projects that is in planning. Maybe we look at the project 441, the new, or let's do the other thing. Let's look at the project that we quote, right? So we have a project that we quote. There are these I'm planning, don't care about them, but we have a project that we quote, and we are quoting here a project that where we already know basically what the steps of the project are or will be, and we also know like we have the estimated budget in terms of time that it will take, right? This is important information to quote. If you quote a system, you need to know which kind of which work you're going to do and roughly how long you're going to take. So this project is really a larger project that I set up. So we have to do some technical specifications, and this is a multi-step process. Then we get the design approval with the customer, including customer kickoffs. Then we do some more technical stuff, some tooling, some fix the design. Once we did this, we can build some proprietary part with our outsourcing partners. And once this is done, and when we receive the items that we have the external suppliers build, we actually can go to the customer in a multi-step process or different phases. Or maybe we install stuff at the customer side, and this is building one, this is building two, or this is floor one, floor two, floor three, or whatever. And then when this is done, we go to the customer again, we review what we built there, and we get the acceptance from our customer. So this is the structure of the project. And if we drill down one layer, then you see I also already have job planning line, because I have to budget for the work that we are going to do. And I did it very rough. I said, okay, on the 23rd of January, I actually need a project manager. So this is like I have a dummy resource, which is called the project manager unassigned, which is my workaround to plan on group level. I need a project manager for 8 hours, and I need somebody in the technical office for 8 hours as well. And then whatever for this task here, for the specification of tools. Not sure what's happening right now. Maybe one click too fast while I was speaking. For the specification of tools, on another day, I need 32 hours of one of my guys in the technical office. So this is how you typically like time budget your project. And this is now a project that I quoted. So now let's look at this project and at the other projects in the Visual Job Scheduler. So now I'm opening the Visual Job Scheduler, and on the startup, I actually get a filter chooser, so I can decide if I want to filter the data or not. In my case, it makes sense actually to at least differentiate two filters. And this is this filter and that filter, because you saw I have some projects that I built as templates. And when I really schedule my work, I don't want to get disturbed by my templates. And likewise, if I build new templates or if I change templates, I don't want to get disturbed by my project that I manage. So here in this case, I have a filter that I call show active projects. And if you look, the filter is built and I look at my project that start with J, because these are my project, and I only look at the plan and the project that I'm planning, that I'm quoting, and that are open, because I don't want to look at completed projects. And this is like of the filter that I have here. So if we apply this filter, we now load for a given period of time that I define. We load all the active projects, and now the Visual Job Scheduler loaded, and you see I already get notification that tell me, hey, your resource technical office and your resource project manager, so these are my groups, so are where the capacity is exceeded. So I know already that with the schedule I just loaded, I have a resource squeeze. And I will come to this a little bit later. So for the time being, just notice that we work with notifications, and that you get notifications when you have a capacity or resource capacity issue, and you get a notification when you have a product deadline issue. So now, first of all, because this is introductory, let's look at this at the more high level information, because before we drill down into the details. So my VJS opened in what we call the job view. The job view basically it breaks down into three parts. We have the timeline here, we have a tabular part here, and we have the graphical part here. So you already saw, or you noticed it came up something like this. And then I made something like this. So you can use the timeline actually for two purposes. First, it gives you the orientation at which part of your projects you look at, which time frame you look, and it also lets you navigate. So if I'm interested just in the January, I can click the January, then it spans across the January, and then here I can just move to the next month, to February, now to March, and so on and so forth. And I can also zoom in and zoom out like this, and then also scroll like this. You see this red line here starting from the timeline. This is actually my work date. So in my environment here, it's already the 17th of January 23. So I'm kind of beginning of 23. But this is just for demo purposes right here. So I'm working in not in a live environment, but in an environment that I run here locally on my machine. Then on the left-hand side, we have what we call the table view. The table view is sorted by the project status. So these are planning. These are the projects that I run. Then I have the projects. These are the active projects that I'm actually executing. Then these are the projects that I'm quoting. These are the projects that are open, maybe where I'm not ready yet to quote them. So the projects that are building. And these are the completed, and I filtered them out. So I don't want to see the completed projects here. Then just that you have seen it already. This is the job view, or let's continue with the job view here in the middle. Then we have this bar, and this bar shows me for my quoted project. It shows me the length of the project. So it shows me that the product takes from here. It's currently scheduled from week 4 to the end, or to the beginning of week 15. Then in the table part, there are these little triangles, so I can now, like in the project, let's look at the project again, and you can look at the project again by double clicking it. Then the project card opens. So now you see that actually we have information from the project card, which is the project number, the description, which customer this is, and this is information we basically see here, and we also see here on this bar representing the project. Then one level down, we have the job tasks, and the job tasks again have a hierarchy. And then if we are at the job task of the type posting, then under it we have the job planning lines. And the same, like I can drill down from here. I can also drill down graphically. So I can actually open this now, and then I see my job tasks. I see when they are going to take place. So I do the technical specification, get the design approval, do the tooling and fix the design. Then it goes to my outsourced supplier. I do the field installation, and then I get the final acceptance here, end of week 14, beginning week 15. Then from the job tasks, I can drill down into the subtasks. So let's go back again. You have the design definition, CAD models, E-bombs, engineering analysis, stuff that you see here, right? And then from here, you can drill down into the planning lines. And here you actually see that I need 8 hours of a project manager and 8 hours of some of my guys in the technical office. And I can also here on the right click say expand all. And then if I expand all and select one, then you actually see that we also have these links defined. So there's a clear hierarchy of dependencies here within this project. So this is information I see here on this job view. Complementary to this job view, and I will now quickly jump back there, we have the resource view, which gives me the same information that I had in the previous view, but now on the left-hand side, it is no longer structured by project, but on the left-hand side, it is structured by resource groups and resources. So my resource groups are my project managers, my technical office, my field installation, and then I have also my outsourced production here as a resource that I set up as a Business Central resource. And then then a resource group. And then in project, I have two project managers, Mary and Linda. I have two guys in three guys in the technical office, Tom, Paul, and John. And I have a bunch of field service guys, and I have a couple of job shops here that I work with for the outsourced production. So this is each light blue line here is a resource. Each dark blue line is a resource group. And now I see which kind of work and how much work has been assigned to my resources over the period of time. And when we look, for example, at my field installation guys, and we know now that we are in big three, it seems that with the exception of Timothy, actually, Timothy seems to be sitting on the bench, or he's a lazy guy, or he is good at not doing any work. I don't know what's wrong with Timothy, but all the others, um, they have a solid workload. They are not at 100% utilization right now, but I have a solid workload here. I have a quite solid workload here for the next couple of weeks with my project manager. They still have some time left, but you see they are pretty savvy, pretty good booked. So this is information we see here in terms of resource stuffing, right? I now see what Tom is busy with, and also from here I see that which project this is, and also you see the different colors. And let me go back to the job view again. You see that actually most jobs here have an individual color, and this is something that you actually can define on the job card. So if we look at my quoted job here, there is this line, this is field color VJS. This is something that comes with the installation of the VJS. So we add this field to the job header, and there you can now select a color. So in my case, I actually selected the colors a bit that whenever it is blue or bluish, this is the new system installation. Whenever it is yellowish, then this is a service project. And I made the quoted ones in purple. So the quote ones. So now let's actually look what we can do with the VJS. So first of all, we got this notification here, right? It tells us, hey, you have right now, and this I'm in the process of quoting this project. And when I'm quoting the project, and if I have it already like time scheduled, right? You saw it is time scheduled. Yeah, let me expand it all. You see, I have defined all my tasks. I have defined which type of resources I need, and I have budgeted these because I already put in figures here. So I say 8 hours of a project manager's, 8 hours of a technical office guy. When they are ready, the technical office guy needs to continue working on this 24 hours, so 3 days. And you see, by the way, this is a job planning line. Let me double click here. This is a job planning line. It says on the 24th of January, we need one technical guy, 24 hours. And because we set up the technical office resource with 8 hours a day, we automatically span this by 24 hours, by 3 days, right? 24 divided by 8 is 3 days. So the project is fully budgeted in terms of which task we are going to do and how long it takes. And now the question is, can we handle this from a capacity point of view? And if we look at this, we get this warning. So now we should go back to the resource view and see where we have the capacity issue, and the notification tells us already, okay, you have an issue, a capacity issue in the technical office, and you have a capacity issue with your project manager. So actually, if I want to know more information, and although my field guys are looking so busy, I don't seem to have a capacity issue here. So if I want to know more about capacity utilization and to which degree my capacity is exceeded and where this comes from, I now can say, okay, my technical office and my project managers are over capacity. So I can click here, and then I see what we call the histogram or the capacity load chart. And if we look here, you see I have two project managers. So in my project management department, given that each project manager works 8 hours a day, my total daily capacity, this is the outer line, is 16 hours. And you see on that Monday and on those Tuesday and Wednesday, we are over capacity because Mary and Linda are already working full time on other projects. And now I have this demand from my quoted project. Like we see on the technical office, it's just this one day, right? And the other days with this demand from this project, we are still within the available hours that we have, but here we have a bit of overload. And with the field service guys, we still have a lot of free capacity. So I would say the only issue to take care here is my project management part, because I have like if I want to start this project here in this week, as my customer is requesting this, I don't have a project manager to work on it because they are assigned on other projects and these projects are running. So now what I can do very easily from the job view is say, okay, what happens to my capacity utilization if I move this project by 1 week, right? If I start it a week later, so and I expand it so that you are, let me expand it. You see now all those job tasks, all the job planning. So let me collapse it again. And now the question is, what happens if I move this by 1 week? So I can take the whole project and say, hey, I want to start a week later. What happens to my capacity? And now it has to move all job planning lines, all job tasks, and you see, boom, the notification is gone. I can expand this here. If I expand this, then you see all job tasks, all job planning lines have been moved accordingly. And now also from the resource point of view, and let me save this because this is definitely a better project schedule than I had before. Now I updated this project, I updated all job tasks, all job planning lines, and I have no more resource conflict because now this got sorted out. So this is something that you can do with the visual job scheduler. Other things is now let's assume you get a new project that you also want to quote. How do you do this? How do you deal with it? And what happens? So now let's look at a more simplistic project. Let's add this to the schedule and play with it. And with this, I'm leaving the VJS for a quick moment of time, and I'm creating a new project. And this is the project 452 sample project in the webinar. This is the description, and let me type this correctly. This will be a project for the Canon group. And what I do is I copy tasks from a template that I defined because I'm lazy. I don't want to create a project new. And then now I take like I have a very simple project here, and you will see it in a minute. I copy all the tasks, so I leave these blanks. I want to copy the quantity, and now I have set up my job tasks and the job planning lines for this project. And let's see, let's look at this project green. So this is the green project, and it's an open project, though it will show up in green in the VJS once we load it. So let me load the VJS. Let me load just the active projects. And you see that we have a new sample project here. I get some warnings again because some of the things will not work here right now. But anyway, remember, this is today, and this is the new project that I created. And most likely, I don't want to start a project in the past because this is impossible. So I want to say, okay, this is a project. Maybe this is going to happen beginning of February or maybe in week 5. So I want to start this project in week 5, and I see, okay, I might have some issues here with my project management capabilities and with my field guys, but for the time being I ignore this notification, or maybe I say, okay, let's start to be on the safe side. Let's start on week 6. What happens? Okay, still the same, but anyway, I need to work on this project again a bit more. So I look at the project structure. It is very simple. I need a project manager, technical office, outsource production, installation, field acceptance. So project manager, and the template said, okay, I need a project manager for 16 hours. And let me expand this all. I need this project manager for 16 hours. Well, you know what? I know the Canon group are very demanding customers. So I think this time I will actually need more. So I changed the quantity. It will not be 2016, but I say, no, we need to work on this. My project manager need to work on this 3 days. So you see, I changed the quantity, the bar got longer, and the successors got automatically pushed out. Let me save this. Look at the job planning line here. on the 6th of February, we need 24 hours, so it got changed by me saying right mouse click change quantity. So now one thing, if you look closely to it, we have here a bar that says I need a project manager for 24 hours, and it spans 3 days because we have the base calendar of 8 hours a day. If we look at this job planning line, actually it spans across a longer period of time, and it's only 16 hours. So if I look at this here, it is on that day we need a technical guy for 16 hours, but there is a new column here that also comes with the VJS. This is the planned end date, and here we can, this mirrors the case that we say, okay, we have a task for somebody in the technical office. He has a budget of 16 hours, but he has a time frame here of, what is this, 15 days to work on this. So this is 15 days to work on this, but only spent 16 hours. And if we look at this thing in the resource view, so go to the resource view, then you see actually from the histogram, we have just an average utilization from that if we apply it like this. So this is also a cool thing of the VJS, that we can also work with these, like give somebody a budget of hours to complete the task, and then give them a longer time frame on which you can work on, so that they can deal with multiple projects at the same point of time. Then another thing that I see in this project, I also have this guy here. So if we look at this job planning line, it is, and we not only have resources, we have an item. So part of this project template was that we need an item on this job planning line. And if we go back to the item, or if we go back, sorry, if we go to the item card, and this is this mounting thing, it is here, here's the item. If we go to the item card, we actually have here show in VJS on the item card. This is checked on. So if you have items that are really critical, also in terms of the visual scheduling, if you want to see items in your schedule, then by default, we are not showing them. We move them with the job planning line. So you can select that every item should get moved if the job planning line is, or if the job task is moved. But then also, if you have items that are really crucial for you on the item card, you can say show in VJS, and then they appear like this item appears here. And if the job task is moved, then the job planning lines for the resource, but also the item is moved again. So now, so this might be a good time for the time frame for the project. And well, you know what? The Canon Group is a tough customer, so the last step will again take 2 days of the project manager to work on it. So now I have time scheduled the project more or less, and then I can go back and resource schedule the project. So now let me get rid of these histograms. Now that the project is resource scheduled, I can actually try to decide who is going to do the job. And this project here is still, oh, let me quickly change this. So the purple one is still unquoted, and now I got the order for this green project, and now I'm going to staff the project. So I can say, okay, right now this task is still with a project manager, but now the customer has confirmed the timing. I got the order from the customer, so now I do some fine planning, and then I can say, okay, actually this work goes to Mary because she has some time here, right? This here, this task is for Tom because he is available in that period of time. So now let's look at the field guys. Maybe if first there's the outsourced production. Okay, this is something that I know my job 1 can deal with competently. And then I see, okay, actually they told me they will be finished by the end of week 10. So maybe from here, I want to say scheduled successors, because then if I receive the material earlier, in theory, I could start with the field installation earlier. And then I say, okay, this task goes to Mark because he has some free time. This thing goes to Timothy, And then the last one again goes to the project manager. And I think who was the project manager? Linda is the project manager. So now my customer comes and say, okay, it's actually really cool if you can deliver by the end of week 13, but any chance that you can speed this up? And there is a potential to speed this up here in the installation process. So if this task could be shared between people, so if I would have another resource here, or if I could make like better use of some resources here. So what I would do is I would say, okay, actually, you know what, instead of having one person working on this 2 week, we can have 2 persons working on that 1 week. So I can go here and split the job planning line, and then it's not 1 time 80, but it's 2 time 40. We have a new job planning line that I created. It's now with Timothy, and then I can have a look here maybe, move this work from, I don't know, move this work from Joe to Peter, so that I have some free time here with Joe, and then give him one of these tasks. And then we are with the green project. We are with the green project ready a week earlier, so that then like this task also could get slotted in here. And now we are done in week 12. The customer most likely very happy about this, and I could confirm now to the customer delivery, save this, and then all data are updated again. So this is in essence what you can do with the visual job scheduler. There are much more capabilities that I have shown to you, but this is, like I said, an introductory webinar. Remember, you have the resource view that helps you with staffing your project, with assigning job tasks or job planning lines from an unassigned resource to one of those resources. We have the job view that gives you the information, the structure of your product. It shows you the timing of your project. You saw that in both views on my right mouse click, we can change the quantity on the project. You also saw that we can work with links and with dependencies. You saw that on right mouse click, I can split the job planning line. You saw that we can also facilitate such a case where we say, okay, Tom has 16 hours budget for this, but he has 15 days time to complete on this task. And if there would be so if this resource would be an absence and we would have an employee, this resource would be an employee and we would have absence with this employee, then this would also be shown. So there is really a very, very tight integration with the visual job scheduler and the Business Central Jobs module and the Business Central Resource Planning module. And with this, customers really can visually plan their project and visually staff their project without using tools like Microsoft Project or Microsoft Excel. It's all integrated within Business Central. And again, I will do deep dive webinars on this in the next quarter, and in the next couple of weeks and months. But for today, I wanted to give you an introduction, a first idea of what the visual job scheduler is, how the visual job scheduler can work, and what you can achieve with the visual job scheduler. And so this is what I prepared for today. If you have questions, please ask them via the GoToWebinar chat pane. As I most likely I won't answer them now, but you can expect to receive an email from me or from one of my colleagues within the next 24 hours. And with this, I really like to thank you very much for your attention. It was a pleasure for me to have you here. It was a pleasure for me and is a pleasure for me that you're interested in the visual job scheduler, that you're interested in our extension. We have the same or a similar product for production scheduling, and then we have a more advanced finite capacity scheduler also for production. So if you have a question, put it into the chat pane or send me an email, connect with me on LinkedIn. I'm really happy to engage. And with this, thank you very much. See you next time. Goodbye.